if you've currently got shoulder pain, a shoulder impingement, a shoulder niggle, I really do feel for you because I've been there and it's fucking awful. And it depends. Like if you're the type of person that's just started training and you get a shoulder injury, you're probably just gonna. Well, you probably won't be watching this video, but let's say you are. You'll just stop and then you'll sack it off and then you'll just get fatter and accept that you getting in shape is just not something that's meant to happen. Or even worse, if you're like me and you got a shoulder injury, it would be a real pain in your life because you know your physique needs developing. You're not happy with where it is, otherwise you wouldn't be trying to develop it. But you physically can't develop it because you're injured. So there's honestly nothing worse, and I've been there. And most importantly, you can't grow your chest because your shoulder's fucked. That's the long and short of it as well. The reason why my chest was so small for so long is because my shoulder would take over and my shoulder just got fucked. Now, in this video, we're going to uncover why that happens. And my promise to you is that by the end of this video, if you listen to it all the way through, you'll understand why people fuck their shoulders, how we can fix it, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and this is not going to be an issue for a long period of time, but we need to get this nailed down. And you'll probably wish someone taught you this as soon as you started lifting. The second best time to find this information out is right now and today to solve the problem. Why should you listen to me? So if you didn't know who I am, my name's Tom Sergi. I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is a physique development and a transformation program, and these are the results we get. So nice. So let's fix the issue. Let's actually add some tissue to the pecs. Let's fix the issue of the shoulders and stop them from taking over, first and foremost. So the main reason why people fuck their shoulders because they lift, honestly, like the image you see here. Whenever they press, any form of pressing, they'll press with their arms at right angle all the way out here. Now, that's not going to put any more tension on the muscle being the shoulder just because your elbow is here. It's going to apply pressure to the joint, but it's not going to put more tension on the muscle. Remember what we spoke about. That muscle will lengthen a lot more than it is here, but you won't be able to get your arm much lower than it is here because of the way the socket's set up. And it'll just be uncomfortable. And people will force it. People will try to do behind the neck press, and the load will force you down. And you're just moving a joint in realistically a place it doesn't want to go. It's like trying to get that Dyson Hoover that's on the swivel ball, turning it right into one corner and then trying to hoover with it in one direction. Like it doesn't want to sit against the edge of the housing and be grinded like that. And that's what you're doing every time you press. And when you press, what you're doing is sticking a good fucking amount of load on there, no doubt, because you want to get big and strong. So no wonder the shoulder just gets absolutely battered and fried and your rotator cuffs get fucked because it's just not in that healthy position. Move your elbows in and allow the ball and socket to sit freely in the housing, and your range of motion will be greater anyway. So, as a rule of thumb, for any form of pressing, shoulder, incline, flat, whatever it is, tuck those elbows in at a 45 degrees, and the issue will not be there so much. Honestly, that if I could give you one bit of advice, it's literally just tuck your elbows in, and you'll be okay. The next thing we'll say is why this happens is people will stack a fuck ton of load onto a bar. And to get that back up, obviously the chest is going to be working, but realistically, the shoulders are going to take over. Of course they are. Like, if you look at the surface area of the shoulder versus the pec, there's probably more on your shoulder than there is on your pec. So they're going to work simultaneously together to get that load back up. And if you're lifting with your ego to try and lift as much as possible without nailing down your technique, of course your shoulder's going to take over. And when it takes over and you've pushed it in a direction it doesn't really want to go, of course it's going to get fucking injured. Obviously. So what's important for us to understand is actually the origin and the insertion of our muscles. So if we wanted to grow our pecs that basically run like this, and the fibers run here onto the humerus, onto the upper arm. Fuck these drawings. Okay? To train your pecs, your shoulders need to stay back, fixed in the housing. What you actually need to move is your humerus towards the midline of the body because the origin is here, the insertion is onto here. You need to close the two together to train the muscle. So don't think about pushing the weight forwards and up. Think about converging your arm across your body. The main reason people fuck their shoulders is on a pressing movement. So whenever you're doing a pressing movement, don't think press the load up or down. Maybe slightly different on a shoulder press. Let's speak specifically for chest press. That's probably where you've injured yourself and where you're not feeling it in your pecs anyway. So think about converging your arm across the body to contract the pec. An exercise that does this very well is a pec deck. Like that, literally, that it puts tension on and closes it in here. So I would heavily suggest you do the pec deck just to get the pecs firing and get them warm and get used to having the shoulder back and fixed in. Whenever you're doing pressing movements, your shoulders want to stay fixed. Because if your shoulder's moving, how can you contract the chest? If the shoulder's physically moving, where's the tension? It's on the shoulder. And if the shoulder's not fixed, how can you bring these 2 points together? You can't, because this is moving. So it's like trying to play 3D chess with your fucking when you're underneath a barbell with more load than you should probably have on. You're trying to play 3D chess, collapse this to train this. No wonder this gets absolutely battered. Like, no fucking wonder people have shoulder injuries. Because you're just lifting, like, it's retarded. Like, you need to fix this point in order to close these 2 points together. Just like if you're doing a leg press, you need to fix your glutes or your hips at one end, and you need to fix your heels at the other. They don't move, but the knee joint in the middle moves, so you can close the angle downwards. In all ways of training, if you want to grow muscle, I'm not saying specifically powerlifting, do what the fuck you want with that. That's not what we do on this channel, although I've done it in the past. If you want to grow muscle, you need to think, where does the origin and the insertion, where are they starting and finishing? How do I close that together? What do I need to fixate and stabilize in order to get stronger? Now, if you've got the fuck shoulder, and I tell you this, now this will stop any future pain in the future. How do you get around this right now is, honestly, you just need to strengthen up your traps and your rhomboid and your back area. How do you do that? Simply rows. If you simply do a cable row, lift with what weight you can, and then continue to load it, you will get stronger. Because you can try all these fancy exercises and all this like weird shit, and it will kind of work. Nothing works better than a row because it's fucking loadable. You pull your arms back into shoulder extension, you get the contraction, everything contracts, gets tighter in the upper back region. Therefore, your shoulders are back, your chest is out. So now it makes it easier that when you do press, you're thinking arm across the body, not here, caving shit in. If you wanted to train the chest, you need to keep that rib cage as far open as you possibly can. Don't think about just trying to like get the weight up. So what will fix the problem? Nice and simple. I'm not going to spin you any bullshit. I'm not going to tell you to do this or whatever wank shit you've seen, or like this, like fuck all that. Get good at upper back rows. Most people have a weak upper back. In fact, as human beings, it's just a weaker area on us. So double down on your upper back. Double down on T-bar rows, double down on cable rows, dumbbell rows, whatever you can get your hands on. Just do the rows. 3 sets, twice a week as a minimum. In fact, no, 6 sets, twice a week as a minimum. Train to fucking failure. Grow a strong upper back. It will pull everything back and round, keep it tight and fixated, which will open up the chest cavity. Along with that, you now know that to tuck your elbows in at 45 degrees because it moves a little bit freer. Maybe you're not going to do barbell pressing that much anymore, and you know not to press with your arm all the way out here because of the tension it's going to put on the shoulder. That all that harnessed together and applied, you will not have a problem. I know this because I fixed my own fucked shoulder, and now I'm actually able to start growing a chest, which is nice. Very, very nice. So I hope you found this useful. I hope this was packed full of value. If it was, subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram if you want to spit more game together about fitness and just see what I get up to on there. And I will see you in the next video.